Don't do that though. No, don't name grab the wood. You can clearly see this is turning black. So I will stop that.
What are you making for dinner?
I have no idea. Fusilli?
Fusilli.
Fusilli.
Fusilli. You're so fusilli. Hi, Chub Chub. Hi.
Mom, I've already
Are you gonna cry? You look like you're so offended by me calling you Chub Chub. Did your smiles? Hi.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Fusilli.
Fusilli who?
Fusilli? Because it seems like it.
Ha ha.
This is a majestic white sauce.
But this is what I have going on for dinner. I just made up a fresh salad from, it is not focusing. I started this new box from local, come on, a local food box. And so all that's grown locally. Kids made some gluten-free pasta, and I had some meat I had to use up, so I made some burgers real quick. It didn't necessarily go together, but it'll work.
Mom, you made a full-fledged dinner.
Ah, there's Mr. Moose.
Hi. Hi, Kaius. Kaius, hi.
He is in full-fledged.
Oh, hi.
Don't put me down, Mommy. I need my mommy. Don't give me to strangers. Mommy, I need you, Mommy. I can't sleep without you beside me, Mommy. Mode.
Mom, look at this. This is
So.
a full-on dinner.
Don't know how we're going to break that considering, you know, COVID and people
That is-
not wanting to
this
be
is-
near each other. So
This is missing
yeah,
one.
it'll be interesting to see how we
This
can
is
break it.
missing one.
I literally may only have 5 minutes to shoot this video. So I'm going to eat my food as fast as I can. Thought this might be kind of fun to do. I did see someone else do this. Mukbang. I've never done a mukbang video before, and when I told Joel that I was doing a mukbang video, he thought it was something that it wasn't at all. So that was kind of funny. So I'm gonna do 18 questions to ask a mother. So this was actually 18 questions to ask your mother, but I've kind of slightly altered it a bit to reflect questions for myself. All right. Let's see how much quiet I get before the baby starts crying and before children start coming in here. And Joel comes in because it's his office and wants to come in here and work. This is a really good pasta, by the way. Ezra cooked this. You know, for an 11-year-old, it does pretty well. All right, so first question. What's one of your earliest memories? So for me, this one's pretty easy. I have lots of memories from when I was like about probably 2.5, 3. One of my earliest memories is when my papa came to visit, and he lived in Ontario, and we lived in Alberta, and he bought me my first little pink bike that didn't have, well, it had training wheels, but he took them off. So I'd been riding it up and down our back alleyway, and only for maybe like an hour, and him and my dad were joking about taking the training wheels off, and I said, sure, why not? Let's try it. So they'd taken the training wheels off, and I'm riding, and I'm doing fine. I'm so excited, and the next thing I know, I'm riding, and my handlebars plopped right off the bike. Came like, the whole thing just came right off, and I remember going over tea kettle and slamming into the ground, and there was gravel. And my dad freaking out, my papa freaking out, and I stood up, and I wasn't crying or anything. They're like, you're okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. Can you fix my bike? So that was probably one of my earliest memories, which is kind of a fun one. So question number 2, what is the most trouble you've ever gotten in? Most trouble I've ever gotten in. I was really a kid to play by the books and the rules. And I don't even think I can even come up with a time where I've gotten into a lot of trouble. I'd have to think about that one. Most trouble. Most trouble. Oh, okay, I know. I was about 15, and friends of mine got me into BMX bikes. So if you're familiar with BMX bikes, they've got like the little pegs on the front and the back. And we thought it would be fun one night to stick newspaper into the pegs and light it on fire and ride our bikes around in the dark and film it, and thought it would be awesome. Actually, if I had that film, that would be really awesome, but I don't even know where it went. And we were in like this great big cul-de-sac, so it was all cement, so it essentially wasn't doing any damage. There was no fire bans, but we lived across from like an apartment building for elderly, and someone called the fire department on us and the police on us. And actually, they were really nice. They're like, "Oh, that was a really, really cool idea. Just, don't burn anything down." So maybe like that's probably like the worst thing I've ever gotten in trouble for, but I'm sure there's something else. I just can't think of it right now. I'd have to really think about that one. Question number 3. What's something you always wanted to do but didn't, and why didn't you? Something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to travel, and I never really got the opportunity to do so because I got married very young and had the kids very young. I did get to go to China, and that was like amazing, and we still plan on traveling if hopefully all this COVID stuff kind of dies down. But that's one thing that I wish I had have done more of before I had kids and when I was younger and I had more energy, because they zapped the energy out of me. Okay, question number 4. How many serious relationships were you in before you settled down, and what were they like? So I was only in about 4. So I dated a guy when I was about 14 and realized it was really dumb. I was too young. And then I dated another guy right when I had turned 16, and we had dated for 4 years, so all through high school. And then he left to go to the army, and we broke up. And so then I decided I was just like gonna take my time and not be with anybody. And I kind of briefly dated a guy, just for a couple months. And obviously that didn't work out because I had just been out of a relationship. And then a while after that, I met Joel. And we actually met. We met and then didn't date. We were friends for a while. And then we went to college together, and then it wasn't until he actually had to go back to the States that we started dating. And then after we started dating, we got married like 8 months later. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend that, but that's what we did. I should have made these into meatballs for the pasta. Are we on question number 5? Ooh, this is a fun one. Growing up, what did you think you wanted to do for a living? So growing up, my mom had a day home, and so I was like always around kids. And I always thought I would for sure want to be a teacher or a police officer because I didn't like injustice, and I wanted to kind of be a good guy and actually have power to do something about it. Obviously, I did neither of those. I became a mom really young, and then I became an early childhood musical educator, which I'm currently not doing because I had Kaius. So yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Obviously one of them kind of did happen because I homeschool my kids, so technically I'm a teacher. Okay, question number 6. What's the best trip you've ever taken? I've taken a lot of trips down to the States. I did go to China once, but it was just for business. And it was probably one of my best just because I got to experience other cultures, and that's where my love for traveling came from. And I do really want to go back one day, but I think probably my best trip would probably be the very first time that Joel and I took a vacation without our kids when the twins were about 3.5. Maybe they were 4. And we went down to Florida, and we drove down into the Keys, and we did snorkeling, and that was the first time I had ever been anywhere that tropical, and I fell in love with it. So that was probably the best trip I've ever taken. Okay, question number 7. When did you know you were ready to have kids? I probably was only about 9 or 10. I had watched a lot of documentaries with my mom. I loved watching documentaries with her. And like I mentioned, she had a day home growing up, so I was always very involved in helping with the kids and whatnot, and cooking and playing with them and that kind of thing. But I remember watching a documentary about kids in Africa and how that they just didn't have a lot. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, how do they not have anything? Like, my little brain could not understand it. And so I had decided at a young age that I was going to have kids, and I was absolutely going to adopt. I didn't know if it was going to be from Africa or anywhere, but absolutely adoption is still on my heart. It has not happened yet, but it is something that I want to do. I also knew that I just wanted to have kids in general. I really loved kids. So now that I'm a mom, I love my kids, but I love my breaks for my kids too, because they are so draining, and I love them, and it's not their fault. They're kids. It's just good to have breaks. And so I'm the first one to admit that when I need a break, I just like pick up my keys, I walk out that door, and I just go for a drive, and I go for a walk, I go somewhere, because I need those breaks. Question number 8. What was your wedding day like? Oh, it wasn't bad, but I tell all young couples, do a destination wedding. There is so much stress involved, and we did our wedding fairly inexpensively. But that being said, I would rather have put more money into the honeymoon, if that makes sense, or like into our life. Our wedding day was really nice. So it was very simple. I think I paid $250 for my dress. It was just out in the mountains, and we could see like the 3 mountain peaks behind us. And then we just had a simple reception at a hall, and it was nice. It was simple but nice. Question number 9. What was the first year of motherhood like for you? It was HE double hockey stick. I had the twins. We had just gotten married and got pregnant 2 months after we got married. And we were fighting because we were still trying to figure out our relationship. And then we added in newborn twins, and I was exhausted. And he actually still didn't even have his permanent residence here in Canada. So there was like layer upon layer upon layer of stress. And it was hard. I don't think I left the house. Yeah, it was tough. After that, it got better. So yeah, it was not pleasant. It was not a pleasant experience. And if you want twins, I'm going to tell you right now, they are a blessing, and they are amazing, and they are wonderful, but it is a lot of work, and I never want to do that again. Okay, I can't remember if we're on question 9 or question 10, but the next question is, what do you want your funeral to be like? Okay, so when I have my funeral, I would love it to be like a party. I don't want people to be sad. I want people to remember the good times and have lots of good food and drinks and enjoy each other's company. I don't want there to be any sadness at all. At a young age, I dealt with a lot of death in the family, and it was tough. And I just think that as a believer myself, that it's not you're not going to see this person ever again. You'll see this person on the other side. So for me, it's not like this morbid, tragic ending. It's like, enjoy what we have now and remember that. All right, I'm totally forgetting about my food. It is like so hot in here. What do you want or wish most for your kids? I want my kids to be happy. I want them to, I know that's so cliche, but I want them to pursue something in life that makes them truly happy and brings them joy. I want them to not just think of themselves and think of others and implement that into whatever they do with their life. I'm not one of those parents that feels that they have to go to university or college. If they want to, then I will fully support that. If they don't, I'll fully support that as well. I just want them to do what they love, follow what they love. Okay, I'm going to do one more. This is the last question. What advice would you give to your younger self? at age 20, 30, or 40. Considering I'm only 33, I'm going to go back to my 20s. And the advice I would give myself is take more breaks for you. Let yourself have those moments where you need to go and just indulge in the chocolate, indulge in whatever you need to do to just go release stress and just take time for you. And maybe that's not the same for everybody, but for me as a young mom, I wish I had given myself more time to myself and not felt like I had to be the perfect mom. You absolutely cannot have the house clean, food on the table, work. You can't do everything. You can have bits and pieces, but you can't do everything at all the time. You got to kind of pick and choose what's most important to you. And I don't think I quite understood that in my 20s. I still don't think I quite understand it in my 30s. I'm trying to understand it. But for me, it's giving myself grace and giving the time that I need to kind of take care of myself. All right, guys, so I'm going to wrap this video up. If you liked it, make sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and even leave a comment down below if you want. I'm going to go finish my food because I kind of neglected it, and this really was a mukbang, and I guess it wasn't because I wasn't eating. But anyways, thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.